Hey there, it's Tara. She do all things transformational guidance coaching, transformational body work and massage, and for our purposes here today, transformational yoga. So today I'm inspired to talk about some approaches to movement that might be useful for people who have things like rheumatoid arthritis and or Lyme disease. And why am I putting those two together is because some of the symptoms of Lyme disease can feel a lot like rheumatoid arthritis. In fact, sometimes Lyme disease is incorrectly diagnosed as rheumatoid arthritis because that's how it could be showing up in the body. So I happened to have gotten a Lyme diagnosis over the summer, and thankfully right now I am symptom free, but there was a period of time, the first, I would say, like month that I was diagnosed, that I had a lot of pain. And I don't typically live in a lot of pain in my body. I have to manage certain parts of my body that might, talk a little louder at times, but I don't typically have chronic pain. And so the kind of pain I was having was a new experience for me, notwithstanding a car accident I got into last year in which I fractured a vertebrae. So what both of those incidences, the fractured vertebrae and the pain from the Lyme, taught me is that they taught me to modify my practice, but I needed to practice. I could not practice because not practicing caused me to be in more pain than a modified practice. And I think that in all likeliness, most people don't know what to do. They're in pain. And so the tendency when we're in pain is to tense up and to stop moving. And actually, although it might be counterintuitive, what's really needed is actually to learn to relax and to learn how to move effectively and properly for the moment. So this practice anybody could do. This is a good practice for anybody. This could be for somebody who's, just mostly sedentary, who's a beginner. This is not isolated only to people who might have those conditions, nor is this a comprehensive practice. So if you have those conditions, please don't think this is covering all the bases. It's not. But having said that, the most important thing for anyone to do is to learn to come into a state of mindfulness and presence with themselves. And the best way to do that is through the breath. So for today's practice, we're going to keep things really simple. And the main thing that you're going to need is a chair. And you might want a blanket too, which I have right here. So I just have my yoga blankets. If you have any kind of firm blanket, or beach towels are awesome. You could use a beach towel. So what we're gonna do for the first exercise is we're gonna sit in a chair. And what you're gonna do with your blanket, you can take your beach towel or your blanket or whatever you have from this kind of shape, and you're gonna fold it almost in half. But see how I have this one side is hanging over this side. So you're going to take this is going to be the bottom, and the crease is going to go towards the back of the seat. So it's like this. So what's going to happen when you do that, I'll go on the side, is you're going to create a mild slope on your chair. And that mild slope is going to give you your lumbar curve. We need our lumbar curves. They're important. You've probably heard me say it if you've watched any of my other videos. It's really important. So when you sit on this kind of angle, it helps to put the pelvis in an anterior tilt, and that anterior tilt helps to maintain the lumbar curve. You can see I was just shifting my weight side to side. What am I doing here? I'm moving my sit bones and then the gluteal flesh out to the sides a little bit. I've got my feet more or less, ankles more or less under knees, knees ankles all kind of lined up together. So from here, you can close your eyes and take a deep breath. And I would like you to exhale and soften whatever areas of tension you can soften in your body, and evaluate if you are decently comfortable. If you're not decently comfortable, I want you to evaluate what you could do to make yourself more comfortable. And here's a few ideas. So if you need to, you could add another blanket under your hips to increase that tilt. Another thing you could do is you could roll a firm, like a firm pillow behind your back or a towel, and kind of place that sort of in that lower back area against the back. So it's pushing into the low back a little bit, helping you lift the chest a little bit and maintain this sort of upright posture, but with just a little less effort, okay? So if you need to pause the video and do that, go right ahead. Otherwise, coming into our breath, you're gonna take a deep breath. Relax whatever tense areas you can, including the jaw, the back of the neck and skull, the front of the hips, and the shoulders. I want you to do this a few times. Slow inhale. And a slower exhale, relaxing the tense parts of your body. So you're using the exhale to scan where the tension might be. The eyes, the tongue, the fronts of the shoulders, the backs of the shoulders. Now, if you have an area of pain, in the next several exhales, see if you can soften, even if it's just a nano percentage. Can you soften the muscle tissue around the area of pain? So say you feel pain in your neck. Can you soften the area into the shoulders, down to the shoulder blades, up towards the skull, around the area of pain? Can you inform the jaw to release? Say you feel pain in your hips. Can you soften the area around the hips? Can you soften the belly? Can you soften the low back? Exhaling, softening the anterior hip crease. And so you can do this as long as you like and as often as you wish. But for the sake of our time today, please come back by softly opening the eyes, and we'll start to move a little bit. Okay, so we're going to use the chair quite a bit today, because sometimes when we're in pain, standing can, be tough. So we'll start with the chair, and what I'll invite you to do is bring your arms open to your sides, palms up, and you're just going to open up so the palms start to face back. So it's called external rotation of the arm, external rotation of your humerus bone, upper arm. And when you do that, feel the shoulder blades slightly draw together, lift up through the back of your head, and we're going to inhale the arms up. Take a deep breath, lift the chest if you can, and then exhale, turn the palms to face out and down, and slowly lower the hands, trying to stretch the arms if you can. And I understand that if you're in a lot of pain, this may be very difficult. So you're just going to do it to the level that you can. Inhale up. Turn the palms and exhale down. If you need to bend the arms, you can. do your best here. Good. And then we're going to bring the hands together. This is prayer pose. And we're going to bring the hands together. And you're going to start to make some circles. So you're going to point the fingers down, then bring the back of the hands together, and then open up, back to the prayer pose, and just making these circles with the wrists. Very simple. Could be intense if you have pain in your hands and wrists, but these are the things that help us to re-nourish the joints. So as long as it isn't too painful, see if you can work through these joints like this, and then go the other direction. You can, again, you can do this for longer than we do it here, and you can do this often. Okay. And then you're going to widen the legs a little bit. You can move the hips a little back, be comfortable on the chair. And we're going to make some rolls with the head. But what I'm going to invite you to do is, instead of thinking about making circles with the head, I'm going to invite you to think about making some squares with the tip of the nose. And going up the side, across the top, down the opposite side, and then down across the bottom. You'll do this a few times in each direction. Breathing fully as you go. And reverse directions. Go to the other side. Never press beyond your limit of, we're not going into the pain threshold. You may slightly feel some mild discomfort if the body is stiff, but not into pain, please. And come back to center. And then you're going to open up your right hand, and you're going to fully extend the elbow if you can. Fully extend the palm if you can, and you're going to tip your head up to the left. So over and up to the left, so that you're feeling length from the right ear all the way down to the right shoulder. And I like to pretend that I'm breathing into that side of my neck. So you can take a deep breath. We'll go for about 3 deep breaths. And guess what? If you were to bring your left hand here to the right shoulder and gently press down towards the floor and back towards the wall behind you, you may increase that opening a little. Maybe too intense for you, but maybe it feels nice. So just breathing. And then slowly coming back, and we'll switch sides. So you're going to open up the left palm, contract the left tricep, tip the head up and over to the right. Breathe into that left side of your neck. Some deep breaths with those slow exhales. Deep breath in, slow exhale. Slow it down so you can feel what's happening. If you'd like to bring your right hand to that left shoulder, you can gently encourage it back and down. Good. And then relax, gently come back. And so next what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just hunch over the knees. So when you hunch over, you can keep your elbows on your knees, you can let the wrists dangle, and you're going to let the head come down a little bit. And you can nod the head yes a few times, tucking the chin closer to the chest and then just lifting the top of the head away slightly. Breathing. And then find where your neck is most comfortable and pause there. And we're going to take a deep breath into the back body. So you're going to feel your posterior rib cage, your vertebrae and your shoulder blades expand on your inhale. And on your exhale, relax, let them converge. Expand the bones on the inhale, massage the muscles by expanding the bones. And relax. One more big. Good. So this is like a child's pose. And if you liked that and you feel like you have more potential, you could hang down between the legs. You don't have to do this. You could dangle the head a few times. This may be too much. Maybe take a couple more breaths here. And then, depending on where you are, you might use your hands against your thighs and very gingerly come up. Well, I'm not in pain today. I do want to model for you moving carefully, because if you are in pain, you want to sort of, hold your own hand through the movements, right? So gingerly coming up. And from here, we're going to move sideways on our chair. So I'm going to move my chair, actually. And what I'm going to do here is, for this one, I'm going to take the blanket off. We don't probably need it unless it's making it more comfortable for you. So I'm going to sit on the chair with my right hip close to the chair back, and my feet, ankles, knees, hips kind of more or less all lined up, relatively speaking. So we're going to start to take some mild rotation. You're going to take a turn towards the chair back, and you're going to bring the hands to the chair back. And you can allow your hips to slightly turn, just a little bit here. And what you're going to do is, with your left hand, you're going to pull, and with your right hand, you're going to push on the chair back. And you're just going to do this to your body's level of comfort. But here's what you need to do. You need to breathe. So I'd like you to please take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, allow your spine to soften into the rotation. You don't have to be pushing and pulling hard with the hands, just to guide the body into the rotation. Deep breath. Exhale. Rotate. When I was in a lot of pain, it was movements like this that really helped me to wring out the pain. And so you'll unwind after you feel satiated, and just give yourself a second and see how that felt. Digest the experience. So take a breath. Exhale and release, and we'll go to the other side. So you'll sit with your left hip against the back of the chair. And take a deep breath and turn towards the chair back, slightly turning the hips, and you're going to pull with the right hand, and you're going to push with the left hand, and you're going to breathe. So take a nice deep breath. Exhale, soften and release. Nice deep breath. Exhale, soften and release. We'll do this 3 to 5 times. And then turn back and just take a second to breathe and digest that and feel the body. Good. Now, if anything causes more pain, maybe you cease and desist, right? We don't want to work. Pain is not the objective here. We're working to create some fluidity in a body that's stiffening up, not to create pain. So from here, you can stand up, and you're going to use the chair back. There's lots of different ways to do this, but we're going to do it using the chair back. So you can bring your hands to the chair back and bring your feet a little bit, let's say, depending on your height, about 2-3 feet behind the chair back. So the wrists are a little forward of the shoulders, and the hips might be kind of under or behind the hip. Feet might be under or behind the hips. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath, and then exhale, tuck the tail, draw the belly muscles up towards the spine, and draw the chin down towards the chest. So we're coming into spinal flexion. The weight here comes back to the heels. And then you're going to inhale, flip the tailbone up, bring the weight more over the wrists, draw the shoulder blades together, and lift your eyes so that you're looking across the room a little bit more, or maybe several feet in front of you on the floor. Exhale, tuck the tail, draw the spine towards the ceiling, tuck the chin, You can allow the knees to have some bend, whatever feels appropriate here. Inhale, flip the tailbone up, keep a bend in the knees. Glide a little bit forward, draw the shoulder blades together, lift your eyes. So you're just going to do this at your level of ability several times, moving through spinal flexion when you round the ceiling, round the spine to the ceiling like a beach ball, and extension when you let the spine come into concave curve like a cow's back. That's why this is called cat cow. Cat when you round the spine up like a Halloween cat. Cow when you let the spine become concave like a cow's back. And then from there, exhale, we'll come up and you can pause for a breath or two in mountain pose, Tadasana. Feel the body, notice what just happened. It's mild, but it may be having an effect, right? Okay, so then we're gonna just take, I'm gonna kind of come on an angle here. We're gonna take the right foot forward and the left foot back. And of course you can please watch if you're unfamiliar with this kind of movement. So you see me, I'm pulling this chair closer because I want to be able to push off of the chair to come up into standing, vertical, if possible. And I'm using the downward pressure in my fingers to pop up through the head. Now, when I was in my peak stiffness and pain, this was a big deal. This was a lot. So if any of the movements I show you, including this one, feel like a lot just in the setup, that's a great place for you to be. Be there and breathe there. So you're gonna just feel that back heel on the floor, pressing down if you can. And notice if there's some, waking up in the front of your left thigh or in the back of your left calf. And from here, if you're able, you're gonna draw your right hip slightly back. It's not gonna go very far, but just so we're sort of squaring the hips to the chair back. And then depending on what your body feels like right now, you're gonna start to fold. And how we fold, as I teach forward folds, is we fold by rolling the pelvic bones over the thigh bones. So please, keeping a long line from the top of your head to your tailbone. We're not rounding like a cat here, nor are we sagging like a cow. We're keeping kind of a long line as best as you can. So drawing that right hip back, you might be pushing the chair away, and you're coming into whatever level of fold that your right hamstrings will allow you to do. So it may not be very much. You may be, higher up. Maybe you're 45 degrees or 70 degrees up, or maybe you are able to come a little closer down. Maybe you can even come to something like, bringing the torso parallel to the floor and resting the forehead on the chair back, and the hands can come to the chair seat. This is up for you to discern through your breath. So you're taking a deep breath and exhaling and allowing your body to respond. And then from here, coming back up, you can walk back up the chair if you need to. Pull the chair in a little bit more. And you're just gonna move your left hand slightly center on the chair, and you're gonna turn to the right. And see, I have my right hand on the hip. I'm turning to the right, just like we did on the chair. I'm gonna take a deep breath and exhale and allow my spine to respond. And then if you feel like you have the ability, you can start to push the chair away again and come into a bit of a fold. And you might decide to bring your hand to the chair seat. It's okay if the back heel comes up off the floor, but we're gonna do our best to keep the legs straight. And now you're doing your best to draw this right hip back. And I understand if you're very stiff, this could be a lot. So just take it easy. Do at your level of ability. If you want, you can raise the right arm, opening it up. Of course, if you're more flexible, you can come further down. Very flexible people could bring the forearm to the chair seat, but doing your best to keep length through the spine. Good. And then gingerly coming up, carefully coming up, and we're going to switch and do the other side. So now we've got the left leg forward, right leg back, and we're starting with that, downward pressure through the hands, lifting up through the top of the skull. Good. And then you're going to start to take the fold. Remember that we're rolling the pelvic bones over the thigh bones. So from the head to the tail, you're staying as close to in one line as your body is able. And you're only coming as far down as your body is able to do comfortably. Not what my body can do, not what your body used to be able to do, what it can do today. Okay, so you're where you are right now. And if again, you could rest the forehead on the chair if the chair is high enough and the forehead is low enough. You're not reaching the head to the chair, it's just if they match. We're drawing the left hip back and we're exhaling deeply into this posture. And then you're going to come up. Place the right hand a little more center on the chair, turn to the left, and then exhale, start to fold a little bit. We're keeping the chest nice and open to the left, and you're going to come down to, whatever level it enables you to stay nice and long from your skull to your tail. You can bring the hand to the chair seat if that works for your body, whatever your body is reasonably able to do. This is revolved triangle, Parivrtta Trikonasana. And then coming up, you can carefully step together, come into Tadasana. Good. And take a moment here. So that's a very basic initial practice. This was the kind of thing that I was doing when I would wake up in the mornings of the most intense pain at night. I was doing mild practices like this over the summer when I first had the Lyme diagnosis. And I know a lot of people, it's not just in the beginning phase that they have the pain. I know a lot of people have pain, ongoing. So learning what's appropriate for you is really important. And I think going slower to learn that and engaging with your breath to create a mindfulness with the presence of inside of your body is really important. So if you take away one thing from this, it should be to breathe, slow down the exhale, relax as you exhale, and self-examine with those exhalations. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, you can do all the things that we do with videos. You can like it, you can comment on it, you can share it, you can subscribe to my channel. Doing my best to post a yoga video up every week, midweek at some point. And I also have videos reflecting on our energetic presence with ourselves, the law of attraction, emotional intelligence, and other topics like this. So please feel free to dig in. Thank you so much for watching.